Hello, Shelby from Shelby Shea Stitches here. Back to talk to you about a little R&R. My base that I use for pictures and whatnot is getting too small for my project, so I won't be laying out the entire thing at this point. Oh, I undid some of my stitches. That's why you use stitch markers, friends. I love this poster board because it has a nice grit to it. It's glittery, and that way, when I'm laying out my project, I can get a good feel of what it looks like. All right, let me check my screen and what I'm showing y'all. We'll see what it ends up looking like after I edit it. The pattern that I am using is called A Little R&R. It was released last year. I'll turn it that way so you can still see. Let's see, where am I at? We'll figure it out as we go along. A Little R&R is a blanket that is worked in the round. It has repeatable parts, so you can use whatever yarn you would like, however much you have on hand. The pattern is written by using mandala cakes, and I typically use 6 cakes before I get bored. And it makes roughly about a 57-inch blanket. This year for 2022, I decided to host a series of crochet alongs, and A Little R&R is the blanket that I decided to start with. It is one of my favorites because of its adaptability, because of how different each blanket can really come together, and to show you that you can make it with different yarns and it can really turn into something different than what you even expected. The original pattern is written for 2 colorways, and they alternate back and forth, so that the next time there are X stitches, it won't be color B, it'll be color A, so that there's an even use of yarn throughout. For this crochet along, which if you'd like to sign up, you can check out shelbyshaystitches.com, and for the blankets, you can click the check mark for blankets, or you can sign up for all 3. I am using Brava worsted, which at the time I started planning for this crochet along, We Crochet, which is also partnered with Knit Picks, had a Brava kit that is, I think, called Rainbow Dark, and it comes with these 3 colors. Oh wait, did I grab the right purple? This is actually the purple. It comes with these colors plus another purple. I don't know if I'll use it or not. And black. They have another kit that's called Rainbow Light that has white instead of black. I ordered 2 kits, and I want to keep it at just this amount of yarn, which means I will be playing with the color placement as I go along, and you guys get to join me on that journey. Week 1 in the crochet along, when you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get an email every Sunday. At some point, my goal is to have them done early enough that they could be scheduled for the mornings. Oh no, excuse me, not Sundays, Thursdays, so that you have the weekend to work on your blanket. You get a section of the pattern each week. I will link the blogs that talk about how I adapted the pattern because obviously this is written, the pattern's written for 2 colors, and I'm using a lot more than that. I talk about what hook I use, any snafus that I came in contact with. So week 1 is this red section here. Week 2 is the orange section. Week 3, which in the pattern up to this orange border, is section 1. So that might get a little bit confusing as I talk about this. The weeks and the sections don't typically line up, but if it's not the entire section, then it's half of the section at a spot that should make sense to take a break. Like this week, this here is week 3, and it's half of the section by following the pattern. The pattern is available on Ravelry. It's my blanket patterns are all $10. They are tested. I am, especially this pattern because it's one of my favorites, I remake my patterns throughout the year. I try to catch for any errors that may have been missed. I try to update with any info if there's been a lot of questions being asked. I'm also readily available on my Facebook group or other social media platforms. My testers are all admin in my Facebook group and are really willing to help out. Especially, I know that some of these X stitches when you first start gets fiddly, but once you get flowing, I promise it'll click and you'll go. I'm using a 6mm hook. I believe the sticker fell off, which is my only complaint with furls. Also, I have an affiliate link with We Crochet and with Furls. Neither one of them are sponsoring these crochet alongs, but I will have affiliate links and I'm using them. Any of the products I'm using, I paid for myself, and again, I'm not sponsored by them, but we'll make a commission if you buy anything from the links that I post in the description. So back to this part of the crochet along. My colors were running out faster than I anticipated, so I am playing with the colors. The black, just by doing the X stitches, this is all I have left of the black, which I talk about more in in the last vlog about from week 2. So what I'm doing now is only using the using black for the X stitches, and then going to fade the rainbow in the other spaces that I can, which means this week rounds 1 and 2 are yellow, 3 is orange, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are the yellow, which is canary. This week features double crochets, chains, fans, back post double crochets, half double crochets, working within the 3rd stitch, which is back behind. So you get this nice little, you get the V's, the tops of the stitches popped out. This is one of my favorite textures. Bean stitches, single crochets, and single crochets in the back loop. There are tons of tutorials out there that feature how to do any of these stitches. They should all be fairly common. As far as anything that may have tripped me up this week, the biggest thing is watching the corners for the half double crochets. A lot of time I have to mark the first stitch or the last stitch so that I know where the stitch actually starts. It's really clear where your first stitch is on a single crochet and a double crochet, but half double crochet gets kind of silly. So pay attention to what is actually the first stitch. As long as you get the right stitch count across, learning how to fudge things is okay in my opinion, because if you get to the end and you realize that there is 1 stitch short, nobody's gonna really notice if you shove an extra stitch in there somewhere. And if they do, maybe they're just paying a little too much attention to your work and need to crochet themselves. Bean stitches are fun and squishy. Some people have a hard time with them, and there are Other stitches that have been done out there, like double crocheting 3 or 4 together. I don't remember what that stitch is called. Let's see, the bean stitch will have 2 active stitches in it, but for the very first stitch after the corner, I believe, I've got to look at my pattern because, yep, you'll skip the first stitch after the corner, and then every other stitch you'll work you'll work 2 stitches into the tops of each bean. I think that is about where I'm at right now. I started my second second skein of yellow, and I don't know if I necessarily, now that I've pulled this out, my skein had its own little baby. I pulled that out from the center when I was trying to center pull, and typically I don't have a problem with the center pull, but this one popped out, nothing attached to it. You can see that the ends are kind of stressed, so I have no idea what happened here. So I just pulled that out and threw it aside and figured if I need it later, I can. I'm not going to use it now. Next Thursday, when I work week 4, I will be going here into the grass. I'll do another like this spot here where I do a little bit of yellow. Oh, look at those Sonics colors. Bring back our Sonics. Yep, so I'll be transitioning into this for week 4. Week 5 is a catch-up week, and time to, if you haven't collected yarn or if you're late to the crochet along, then you can hop in. I should have a measuring tape out here, but I don't. And I may have actually measured already. At this point, I do get some curling and some waviness that starts, once the blanket gets more weight, it does start to block out a bit. If you feel that it's too much or you're not sure, feel free to post in the Facebook group and ask for other suggestions if they're seeing that as well. Sometimes it's a matter of going up a hook size or going down a hook size, but really it's kind of like a toddler at this point. It's still kind of wobbly and will grow into a more mature, sure-footed blanket here as it grows. I hope you all are having a wonderful Thursday, and we'll see you next week. Bye.